Jay here for Stretford Paddock, that's Stephen Howson, and this is a video looking right. I don't want to be all cheerful, we lost to Arsenal, but let's not be all negative, because we've done a few of these videos, I get all that. But I want to talk about Mbeumo and Cunha, because I've not had a chance to chat to you after the Arsenal game. I was impressed with what I saw. We did want both of us wanted us to sign those players. We're both excited when we signed him. He dragged on a little bit of Mbeumo. We wanted to get that deal done. We did. And Cunha was sort of straight away. And I wanted to get your take on what you saw from them and how you think they could work under Ruben Amorim. Because we saw him in pre-season. We were over in the States. Bryan and Mbeumo, he had a half a game against Everton, didn't he?
Not so much Bryan.
Yeah. We saw Cunha he didn't play in the Bournemouth game, but he played obviously in the West Ham game. Now we've seen him against an Arsenal side that I don't think they're going to win the league, but they're going to be there or thereabouts. And we saw him do very well. I thought they were very entertaining, very direct, and on another day could have possibly got United a win. But I was interested to see what you thought of these two and how excited or what your take on it was.
What was the reaction in the stadium to some of the runs and off him?
Oh, it was mint.
What was the reaction to that little flick from Cunha around the corner?
It was one of those like my son. I took my lad, and he was buzzing. And I've taken him to a lot of games, and it was like one of the few times where he was genuinely like, "What's going on here?" Like,
well, this is what we're here for, right? Yeah. So I said in my review after the game, I can't remember who it was. One of the directors, might have been Barada, mentioned Cantona in the same sentence when we signed Cunha, and as Cantona being my favourite all-time player / God, was kind of like, slow your horses a little bit. Obviously not just what we saw on the pitch from Eric, but the standards and the legacy of him. You know, we win 4 titles in 5. We would have won a 5th if we were banned. You know, we only needed a point.
Just,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In half a year. It was probably good for that.
And he should never have been banned. He did not wrong.
No, free Eric. The legacy then that continued. I mean, you have the class of '92 attributing that European Cup win 2 years after he's retired to him. What?
Yeah, that's mad, isn't it?
Guy was on a beach,
literally
getting medals sent to him and told he was part of it. So do I think Cunha's going to have that same sort of impact? No. But what I saw on Sunday, I understand the thinking behind Barada's utterly batshit quote of, you know, for me that was almost on par of we're going to win the league in 3 years, but like, hang on, we need to start piss testing this lot. Because he's coming out with some mad one-liners, fair play. And he looks like a pretty normal fella and all.
He does, yeah. But then when you see those quotes, you think, has he been misquoted here? And then you think, okay, I get it. You want to be positive. You want to get the crowd going or the fans behind you. And you don't want to go, we're going to win the league in the next 20 years. People go, what? Or you can go, well, this signings, he's all right. You know, hopefully he'll do as well for us as he did at Wolves. People go, what? But he does feel like he gets a little bit excited, which I get. And I understand the Cunha comparisons, although I don't agree with him. I get the idea that this is a player who's got a bit of aura, as the kids say, a little bit of an edge to him as well. But I was surprised because I don't think pre-season had really shown us what these two were about.
At all.
No.
They both came out and put on 5 levels versus what we saw in pre-season.
Yeah.
Mad excited about both of them. That little flick round the corner from Cunha, I was like, this is like, football has it's getting into almost a bit of a cliche now. People blaming Pep Guardiola. It's not just Pep Guardiola, but he's got a fucking lot of burden to carry for this bullshit. It's become more, I think it's become, since the sort of prevalence of stats and data science within football, people are choosing to scout more via data and less via that intangible sort of Cantona-esque magic a little bit. And it was nice to see Cunha having that little bit off the cuff. Everyone's a centre mid. Centre halves are centre mid. Centre forwards are centre mids. Centre mids are centre mids. Like, there's only wingers. I mean, even fullbacks feel like centre mids that they've just tried out left or right. There's only wingers really and goalkeepers, and even they're centre mids nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, that are like a specialist position that kind of get the freedom to have a little bit of a run, and even they're inverted.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's changes in the game that I expect will change and come back around again. But he was throwback a little bit. I mean, Mbeumo's still very much in the modern footballer mould. Mad direct, mad intense with his running. You know, not exactly got a box of tricks outside of I'm faster than you.
Yeah.
But but it is effective. Andrei Kanchelskis didn't have a box of tricks. He was just going to absolutely burn past you and fucking deal with that. So it's that's not to say that you have to have the box of tricks, but Cunha's arrived and he's playing with that sort of flair. Do you like when everyone said Jack Grealish was a United player that we never signed?
Yeah.
Cunha's the one we did sign.
I like that.
He's kind of got the shoulders broad enough to carry being a Manchester United player, and a bit like Cantona, where we saw him be effective at Leeds, we saw him grow into a Manchester United player at United. I do get the vibe that you might see a similar kind of trajectory, albeit probably not with 4 titles in 5. You're back on the sniff if we are. Let's be honest, and I'm going to join you. We're doing a pound of Colombian.
Difficult to argue with that one.
A week. But I think if you look at the way he grew into being a Manchester United player, and that first 6 months or so, he looked like a good player, and then something happened in it on the title running.
You put that
when he broke his hand,
cast on, and he turned into the greatest striker ever for
and
about a month.
Like the consistency, the swagger. He came out with his chest out and meant it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Zlatan tried to play a part.
Yeah.
I think Cantona was the authentic representation of that.
What I like about Mbeumo and Cunha as well is when they've got the ball and they're running with it, you can see how determined they are to keep going, not to get knocked off the ball. A lot of strikers or attackers, we've seen it with Garnacho, if he gets a little knock, he's down straight away, he's rolling around, he's trying to get a free kick.
Where is he, by the way?
I don't know. Anyone knows where Alejandro Garnacho is? We'll put a number in below, you can get in touch. But both of them, and there was times when you thought, they could have got a foul, but they carried on going, carrying the ball. That's refreshing to see, isn't it? Because we haven't seen enough of that at Old Trafford. I think there's been
Fucks me off the diving.
Yeah.
There's so many times that you see people go over and you go, you could have scored.
Yeah. And
stop what you're doing.
Yeah.
Just score.
I'd rather get a free kick here than get a goal. Why? You've spoken about this a lot. Me and you've spoken about it over the last since we started doing the channel, about the lack of shots. We're not taking enough shots. We're not creating enough. I think they had 9 shots between them, which is a massive improvement on what we've seen. And a lot of those were on target as well. And they were, Raya did his job. How impressed are you with that? How important is that going to be if Ruben Amorim is to get a tune out of this team?
Well, what was the number one problem last season?
Goals. Lack of them.
Lack of goals. And the last time that we had 20 shots against Arsenal, we beat them 8-2.
That's mental, that last time we had as many shots against Arsenal was when we beat them 8-2, and we've ended up losing 1-0.
Yeah, so when you think about how you end up getting what you deserve,
Yeah.
We outperformed them on the XG. We should have scored. We were probably worth a goal. You could even argue that there should have been a penalty in the mix there as well, and that's a 180 swing on the result.
Yeah.
These are the fine margins that football is played in, and I think that is why United fans are coming away. Happy's not the right word. Encouraged, I think, is the right.
That's a good way of putting it. I like that.
It's because I thought we were going to lose the game, so I was right. Yeah. I was right that we lost the game, but I was wrong in terms of how we lost the game. I thought it was going to be a play off the back foot. Didn't quite go for us. Arsenal have all the ball, suffocate us, and then do us at a set play. Now they did us at a set play, but it was them very much off the back foot, and it was United taking the ball. We even managed to get in behind them early because we were so vertical. We weren't vertical with it last season. We were fucking boring, to be honest, at times last season. So it was nice to see that we were playing the ball forward early, and we were doing it without a focal point. And I think there was a lot of times where Dorgu got in good crossing positions. Delo got in a few, but maybe not quite as many as Dorgu. Dorgu was the further forward one of the two. And there was nobody in the box.
Yeah.
Cunha was 10 yards behind because that's his job. And Mbeumo was 10 yards behind because that's his job. Bruno was 10 yards behind because that's his job. And that's why you saw Dorgu taking shots.
Yeah.
Because there was no one for him to pass to. Now, we were very close with one of those shots, and what a goal that would have been.
Yeah.
But, once Benjamin Sesko gets up to speed and up to fitness, I mean, he came on, had 20, 30 minutes. He got 2 shots against an Arsenal team that denied him all the space because they stopped attacking at that point as well. So if he's getting 2 shots off against them in those circumstances, bring Fulham on. Just
before I let you go, one final question. Do you feel, this sounds weird, but you use the word encourage, so it's sort of fitting. Do you feel a little bit more positive after the game than you perhaps did going into it? Have you seen enough to think, okay, this can work, or you still have your reservations? Because let's not sugarcoat it, the record under Amorim hasn't been great. We have got new players, but it's still, we still want to start seeing wins, don't we, sooner rather than later? Yeah,
he's going to have to start getting wins. And you can't go through saying we played well and didn't win. You get a couple of games grace of that, playing well, not winning. You have to win. Yeah, them's the rules. I think we will win, though. And I think we will start to turn the corner with the wins. You get that focal point in Benjamin Sesko. I feel like we have fixed the chance creation and goal scoring. I know we didn't score at weekend, but I feel like we've fixed that. Yeah. I feel like the goals will just come. I think they will just start to come. You can still get nilled even when you've got Cristiano Ronaldo at his peak in the team. It still happens. I feel like we've fixed that, and by and large, 80-90% of the time, we'll be all right and we'll score some goals. We'll get shut out occasionally because that's how football works. It's a low-scoring sport. The issue then becomes what I've kind of been harking on about for about 2-3 months, the lack of natural central midfielders. We saw Casemiro and Bruno together. The distances felt a little bit much towards the defence still. There was times when Bruno decided to press when actually he probably should have held his line and prevented a pass in behind. That Michael Carrick trait, that putting out fires before people even knew something was smoking, like just cutting off passing lanes before there's a pass on. That's an incredibly difficult skill for someone to just adapt to, and Bruno doesn't have that in his locker. So there was times when he was pushing up to put pressure on, I think it was on Zubimendi, might have been on Rice, and then they were finding Odegaard in behind because he'd drifted into a space that if he'd have just held, you don't have to win the ball every time you see it. Yeah, it's a very Brian Robson-esque trait, of like, there's the ball, I'm going to win it and take everyone out who's in my way. I'm going to absolutely mallet anything in between me and that. Yeah. And sometimes more Carrick, less Robbo is needed. I like that. More Carrick, less Robbo. We'll chat next week about midfield, because I want to see how it pans out a little bit. We'll talk about Maine and we'll talk about the midfield and what's going on there. Go and check out Steve on his other channel, Stephen Howson TV. He's got some good guests coming up on that this week. You know where to find me. That's been Stephen Howson. I've been Jay Motti. Don't forget to hit like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.